Have you ever wondered how many times you were protected without even knowing it? How many dangers never reached you? How many wrong paths you almost took? How many people tried to harm you silently, yet somehow you are still standing strong today? There are battles in life that you can see, but there are also battles you never see, fought in silence, decided in the unseen, and won for you before you even realized they existed. What if I told you? Some of your biggest blessings are actually the things that never happened. Some of your greatest victories are the battles you never had to fight. In this powerful and spirit-filled message, you're about to discover a truth that can completely change the way you see your life. Why certain doors closed. Why some people walked away. Why delays tested your patience. And why, despite everything, you are still protected. This is not just a speech. This is a revelation, a reminder that you are not alone. That there is a divine presence watching over you, guiding you, protecting you even in ways you cannot see. So stay with me till the very end, because what you are about to hear may open your eyes to the unseen battles in your life and awaken a level of faith, trust, and confidence you've never felt before. Let us begin. The first keynote: God sees what you cannot see, both danger and deception, speaks to the powerful truth that human vision is limited, but divine awareness is infinite. As human beings, we often make decisions based on what is visible, what feels right in the moment, or what appears attractive on the surface. However, there are layers of reality that remain hidden from our understanding, intentions of people, future consequences of choices, and unseen circumstances developing beyond our awareness. This is where divine perception becomes crucial. God, as vision, is not restricted by time, emotion, or external appearance. While we see a single moment, God sees the entire timeline, past, present, and future all at once. What may look like an opportunity to us could carry hidden harm, and what may seem like a loss could actually be protection in disguise. Deception often comes dressed as something good, appealing, or harmless, and without divine guidance, it is easy to fall into traps that later bring pain or regret. There are moments when people enter our lives appearing kind and trustworthy, yet their true intentions are not pure. There are situations that seem beneficial at first, but later reveal themselves to be destructive. In such cases, God intervenes quietly through delays, discomfort, intuition, or unexpected changes to redirect us. At times, we may feel confused or even disappointed when things do not go as planned, but in reality, we are being shielded from something we were never meant to face. Danger is not always loud or obvious. Sometimes it is subtle, slowly approaching, hidden behind normal circumstances. It can exist in decisions, relationships, or environments that seem safe. God, in His wisdom, detects the unseen dangers long before they reach us. His protection does not always come in dramatic ways. Often it is silent, unnoticed, and deeply intentional. Trusting that God sees what we cannot requires faith beyond logic. It means believing that even when we lack clarity, there is a higher intelligence guiding our path. It invites a shift from control to surrender, from fear to trust, knowing that unseen dangers are being handled by a power far greater than our own understanding. The second key note: divine protection often works silently and invisibly, reveals a truth that is easy to overlook because it does not always come with dramatic signs or obvious interventions. Many people expect protection to appear in visible, powerful moments, something they can clearly recognize and point to. However, in reality, most forms of divine protection happen quietly, without drawing attention, and often without us even realizing that anything was prevented. There are countless moments in life where something could have gone wrong but didn't. Delayed journey, a cancelled plan, a sudden change of heart, or even a missed opportunity can all be expressions of silent protection. At the time, these moments may feel frustrating or confusing, but later they reveal a deeper purpose. What seemed like an inconvenience may have actually been a shield from harm. Because these interventions are subtle, they are easy to dismiss as coincidence rather than recognizing them as intentional acts of divine care. Invisible protection also works on levels beyond physical events. It can guard the mind from harmful thoughts, protect the heart from emotional damage, and even block negative influences from affecting one's path. There may be situations where someone intended harm, spoke negatively, or wished failure, yet none of it had any real impact. This unseen defense is not something that can be measured or proven in a physical sense, but it can be felt through the peace and stability that remains despite external negativity. One of the reasons divine protection remains silent is because it operates beyond human need for validation. It does not seek recognition or acknowledgement. It simply fulfills its purpose to guide, guard, and preserve. If every act of protection were visible, it might create fear by revealing how much danger constantly surrounds us. Instead, the quiet nature of this protection allows life to continue with a sense of normalcy, while still being safeguarded. Understanding this concept requires a deeper awareness and reflection. It invites a person to look back at their life and recognize patterns where things could have gone differently. It encourages gratitude not only for what has been received, but also for what has been prevented. In this silence, there is a profound expression of care, one that works continuously without interruption, ensuring that even the unseen battles are already being handled. The third keynote: not every attack is physical. Many are spiritual and emotional, highlights the deeper layers of struggle that often go unnoticed because they do not leave visible marks. When people think of attacks, they usually imagine something direct and physical: conflict, harm, or confrontation that can be clearly seen and identified. However, some of the most impactful battles happen internally, affecting the mind, emotions, and spirit rather than the body. Emotional attacks can come in the form of discouragement, rejection, betrayal, or constant negativity from others. These experiences slowly weaken confidence, create self-doubt, and drain inner strength. A person may appear fine externally, yet internally they may be struggling with anxiety, fear, or a sense of worthlessness. These are not sudden or loud attacks, but gradual ones that chip away at a person as peace over time. Words spoken by others, especially repeated criticism or hidden jealousy, can have a lasting emotional impact that shapes how a person sees themselves and the world. Spiritual attacks operate even more subtly. They often involve confusion, loss of direction, lack of purpose, or a growing distance from faith and inner clarity. A person may feel unmotivated, disconnected, or constantly uncertain without understanding why. Negative thoughts may increase, faith may weaken, and a sense of emptiness may begin to grow. These are not random experiences. They can be seen as internal struggles that attempt to shift focus away from strength, hope, and trust. Unlike physical attacks, these forms are harder to identify because they blend into everyday life. They can come through comparison, overthinking, fear of failure, or even through the influence of environments that drain positivity. Since they are not visible, they are often ignored or misunderstood, yet they can be just as damaging, if not more. Recognizing that attacks are not always physical brings awareness to the importance of inner protection. It shifts attention from only guarding the body to also guarding thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. It encourages a deeper level of mindfulness about what is allowed to influence the mind and spirit, and highlights the need for strength that goes beyond physical defense, focusing instead on maintaining inner stability and resilience even when external conditions are challenging. The fourth keynote: God blocks certain paths to save you from hidden harm. reflects a reality that can be difficult to accept in the moment because it often feels like loss, rejection, or failure. As humans, there is a natural tendency to believe that every desired opportunity is meant to succeed, and when something does not work out, it is easy to question why. However, not every open door leads to growth, and not every closed door is a setback. Sometimes, what is being denied is actually something that carries unseen consequences. There are situations where a person strongly desires a particular outcome, a job, a relationship, a decision, or a plan, and despite effort and expectation, it does not happen. At that moment, it may feel unfair or confusing, as if something valuable has been taken away. Yet, what remains hidden is the full picture of what that path could have led to. There may have been circumstances, challenges, or negative outcomes that were not visible at the time. What appears to be a mischance can actually be a form of protection from something that would have caused deeper harm later. This idea also applies to relationships. People may enter life with promising beginnings but are later removed or distanced unexpectedly. While this can bring emotional pain, it often prevents future complications that would have been more difficult to handle. The removal of certain individuals or situations is not always a loss. It can be a necessary shift to maintain peace, stability, or direction. Blocked paths can also appear in the form of delays or obstacles. Progress may slow down, plans may change, or unexpected barriers may arise. These moments can create frustration, especially when there is a clear goal in mind. However, these interruptions may be preventing movement towards something harmful or unprepared circumstances. Timing plays a significant role, and what is blocked today may either be redirected to something better or delayed until the right moment. Understanding this concept requires letting go of the assumption that every desire aligns with what is truly beneficial. It involves trusting that there is a broader perspective at work, one that sees beyond immediate outcomes. When something does not happen as expected, it opens the possibility that the path was not meant to be followed, not because of failure, but because of unseen protection guiding the direction elsewhere. The fifth keynote: delay is sometimes protection, not rejection. Challenges the common belief that when something takes time, it means denial or failure. In many situations, people interpret delays as a sign that they are not good enough, not ready, or simply not meant to receive what they desire. This perspective often creates frustration, self-doubt, and impatience. However, delay can serve a deeper purpose that is not immediately visible, acting as a safeguard rather than a setback. Timing plays a critical role in outcomes. What may seem right at one moment could become harmful if it happens too early. A person may be emotionally unprepared, lacking necessary experience, or unaware of certain risks. In such cases, immediate success or fulfillment could lead to complications that are difficult to manage. Delay allows time for growth, learning, and strengthening, ensuring that when the opportunity finally arrives, it can be handled with clarity and stability. There are also external factors that may not be aligned at the present moment. Situations, people, or environments connected to a desired outcome may still be developing or may not yet be in a healthy state. If things were to happen prematurely, it could result in instability or failure. By slowing down the process, unseen adjustments can take place, creating a more favorable and secure outcome later. Delay can also act as a form of protection from hidden dangers. What appears attractive or beneficial at first may carry risks that only become visible over time. By postponing the outcome, there is space for those risks to surface or for circumstances to change, preventing potential harm. In this way, delay is not an obstacle but a filter that removes what is not suitable or safe. Emotionally, delay tests patience and trust. It reveals how a person responds when things do not happen according to their expectations. Instead of reacting with frustration, it invites a shift in perspective, seeing time not as an enemy, but as a process that prepares and protects. It encourages reflection, self-improvement, and a deeper understanding of what is truly needed versus what is simply desired. Viewing delay as protection changes the way setbacks are experienced. It replaces disappointment with awareness and resistance with acceptance, allowing a person to move forward with greater confidence, knowing that not everything that is postponed is lost, and not everything that is immediate is beneficial. The sixth keynote: enemies may plan, but God has the final authority, reflects the contrast between human intention and a higher controlling power that ultimately determines outcomes. In life, there are moments when others may act with jealousy, competition, or hidden negativity, attempting to create obstacles or harm. These actions can come through words, behavior, or silent intentions that aim to disrupt progress, reputation, or peace. While such plans may exist, they are limited by human perspective and control, which is never absolute. People can design strategies, spread negativity, or attempt to influence situations in their favor, believing they have control over the outcome. However, their understanding is always partial. They cannot fully predict consequences, control every variable, or see the long-term impact of their actions. What they intend for harm may not unfold as expected because there is a greater authority that governs the final result. This higher authority operates beyond human schemes, ensuring that no plan succeeds unless it aligns with a larger purpose. There are instances where someone's efforts to create difficulties may initially appear successful. Challenges may arise, opportunities may seem blocked, or misunderstandings may occur. In such moments, it is easy to feel overwhelmed or to assume that negative intentions have prevailed. However, outcomes are not determined solely by human actions. Situations can shift unexpectedly, truth can surface, and what was meant to cause harm can be reversed or neutralized in ways that were not anticipated. This concept also emphasizes that control is not entirely in human hands. While effort and intention play a role, they do not guarantee results. The presence of a higher authority means that outcomes are filtered through a level of judgment that goes beyond individual plans. This creates a balance where harmful intentions are limited and where protection can intervene, even when it is not immediately visible. Understanding this idea reduces fear and overreaction to negativity from others. It shifts focus away from constantly worrying about what others may be planning and toward maintaining inner stability and confidence. It encourages trust that even if negative intentions exist, they do not have unlimited power. The final outcome is shaped by a force that sees the complete picture, ensuring that no plan, no matter how carefully designed, can override what is ultimately meant to happen. The seventh keynote: prayer activates spiritual defense and divine covering, expresses the idea that prayer is not only a form of communication, but also a powerful act that creates inner strength and a sense of protection. Many people view prayer as a way to ask for help or express gratitude, but it also plays a deeper role in shaping how a person responds to challenges, stress, and unseen pressures. Through prayer, attention shifts from external problems to a higher sense of support and guidance, which can influence thoughts, emotions, and actions. When a person prays, they are intentionally creating a moment of focus and connection that quiets distractions and reduces emotional overwhelm. This process helps stabilize the mind and brings clarity, making it easier to handle situations that might otherwise feel threatening or confusing. In this sense, prayer functions as a form of mental and emotional defense, helping to filter out fear, negativity, and doubt before they take control. It allows a person to respond with calmness rather than reaction, strengthening their ability to face difficulties. Prayer also reinforces a sense of being supported rather than isolated. When facing challenges, especially those that are not clearly visible or understood, it is easy to feel alone or uncertain. Prayer counters this by building a strong internal belief that there is guidance and protection present, even if it cannot be physically seen. This belief itself becomes a protective layer, reducing anxiety and increasing resilience. And another important aspect is that prayer encourages self-reflection and awareness. It creates space to evaluate decisions, intentions, and emotions more clearly. This awareness can prevent mistakes, improve judgment, and help avoid situations that may lead to harm. In this way, prayer does not only protect from external influences but also from internal impulses that may lead to poor choices. The idea of divine covering can also be understood as a state of alignment where a person's thoughts and actions become more balanced and purposeful. When this alignment is present, it becomes easier to recognize what is beneficial and what is not, reducing the likelihood of being affected by negative influences. Prayer supports this alignment by continuously bringing attention back to a centered and grounded state where clarity and strength are maintained even in uncertain or challenging situations. The eighth keynote, faith strengthens your awareness of God as protection, highlights how belief itself shapes perception and experience. Faith is not just about accepting an idea. It influences how a person interprets situations, reacts to uncertainty, and understands events that cannot be fully explained. When faith is present, it creates a mindset that looks beyond immediate appearances and recognizes a deeper sense of order and guidance in life. Without faith, many protective moments go unnoticed or are dismissed as coincidence. A missed opportunity may feel like failure, a delay may seem frustrating, and an unexpected change may appear as a disruption. However, with faith, these same experiences can be viewed differently. They are seen as possible forms of protection or redirection rather than random or negative outcomes. Faith does not change the event itself, but it changes the meaning assigned to it, turning confusion into understanding and fear into trust. Faith also sharpens awareness by reducing constant doubt and overanalysis. When a person is overwhelmed by uncertainty, they may question every situation, leading to stress and indecision. Faith provides a sense of stability, allowing them to move forward without needing to control every detail. This stability makes it easier to notice patterns, recognize guidance, and feel a sense of protection even in unclear circumstances. Instead of focusing only on what is visible, attention expands to include what might be happening beyond immediate perception. Another important aspect is that faith strengthens emotional resilience. When challenges arise, a person with strong faith is less likely to feel defeated or abandoned. They are more inclined to believe that there is a purpose behind the situation and that they are being guided through it. This belief reduces fear and helps maintain a sense of calm, even when external conditions are uncertain or difficult. Faith also influences how past experiences are understood. Looking back, a person may begin to notice moments where things could have gone wrong but did not. These realizations reinforce the belief that protection has been present all along. As this awareness grows, trust deepens, and future uncertainties become less intimidating. Faith, in this way, builds a continuous connection between past experiences, present awareness, and future expectations, creating a mindset where protection is not only believed in but also consistently recognized. The ninth keynote, what did happen, is sometimes the biggest miracle, points to a subtle but powerful way of understanding protection and outcomes in life. People often measure success, blessings, or miracles based on visible results, what was achieved, gained, or experienced. However, there is another side that is rarely considered: the events that never took place, the problems that never occurred, and the dangers that never reached their full form. These unnoticed absences can carry just as much significance as visible achievements. In many situations, a person may feel disappointed because something they expected did not happen. A plan may fail, an opportunity may disappear, or a desired outcome may not come to pass. At that moment, the focus is usually on what was lost rather than what was avoided. Yet, there may have been consequences attached to that outcome that were not visible at the time. The absence of that event could mean the absence of stress, harm, or complications that would have followed. There are also moments where nothing seems to go wrong, and life continues without major disruption. This normal flow is often taken for granted, but it can also represent a form of silent protection. The fact that a crisis did not occur, that a conflict did not escalate, or that a risky situation did not develop further can be just as meaningful as overcoming a visible challenge. These are outcomes that do not draw attention because they leave no clear trace, yet they shape life in significant ways. This perspective also changes how past experiences are viewed. Looking back, a person may realize that certain paths they once wished for could have led to difficulties if they had actually happened. The realization that something undesirable was avoided brings a different kind of appreciation, one that is based not on what was received, but on what was prevented. Understanding that what did not happen can be meaningful requires a shift in awareness. It involves recognizing that absence is not emptiness, but sometimes a form of protection. It encourages looking beyond immediate expectations and considering that unseen factors may be influencing outcomes in ways that are not immediately clear. This way of thinking brings attention to the quiet ways life is shaped, where prevention plays a role just as important as action. The 10th keynote, God turns intended harm into unexpected blessings, reflects the idea that negative intentions or difficult situations do not always lead to negative outcomes. In many cases, what begins as a challenge, setback, or even an act meant to cause harm can eventually result in growth, opportunity, or a positive transformation. This shift does not happen immediately, and it is often not visible at the beginning, which is why it can be difficult to recognize while going through the situation. There are times when people may act with harmful intent, whether through actions, words, or decisions that affect others negatively. These actions may create obstacles, misunderstandings, or temporary setbacks. Initially, the impact can feel discouraging, and it may seem like the negative intention has succeeded. However, outcomes are not always determined by the starting point. Over time, the same situation can open doors that were not previously considered, leading to new paths or stronger personal development. Challenges often force a person to adapt, learn, and become more aware. This process can build resilience, improve decision-making, and reveal strengths that may not have been discovered otherwise. What was meant to create difficulty can become a turning point that leads to better opportunities or a clearer direction. In this way, the original intention loses its power because the final result is no longer aligned with the harm that was intended. There are also situations where something negative redirects attention towards something more suitable or beneficial. A missed opportunity caused by external interference might lead to a better option later. A conflict might reveal important truths that were previously hidden. These outcomes suggest that even when events begin with negative intent, they can still be reshaped into something constructive. This concept also highlights that control over outcomes is not absolute. While intentions can influence actions, they do not guarantee results. External factors, timing, and broader circumstances all play a role in shaping how situations unfold. Because of this, negative intentions do not always lead to negative endings. Understanding this idea encourages a different response to difficulties. Instead of focusing only on the harm or unfairness of a situation, it becomes possible to look for potential growth or redirection within it. It supports the belief that outcomes can evolve beyond their starting point, allowing even unfavorable situations to contribute to something beneficial over time. The 11th keynote, "You are protected not because of luck, but because of purpose," emphasizes the idea that protection is not random or accidental, but connected to a deeper meaning behind a person's life. Luck is often seen as something unpredictable and without reason, something that happens by chance. However, this keynote suggests that the protection a person experiences is not based on coincidence, but on the fact that their life holds value and direction that is yet to be fulfilled. Every individual moves through life with certain abilities, experiences, and opportunities that shape their path. There are moments when situations could have gone wrong but did not, or when harm was avoided without clear explanation. Instead of viewing these moments as mere chance, this perspective encourages seeing them as part of a larger design. It implies that there is something ahead that requires preservation, growth, or completion, and that protection plays a role in ensuring that path remains possible. Purpose does not always appear clearly or immediately. Many people go through periods of uncertainty where they are unsure of their direction or significance. During such times, protection may still be present even if the purpose is not yet understood. This suggests that protection is not dependent on awareness. It exists regardless of whether a person fully recognizes their role or not. It allows time and space for that purpose to develop gradually. There are also situations where a person may question why they were spared from certain outcomes while others were not, leading to thoughts of luck or randomness. This keynote shifts that thinking by introducing the idea that survival, avoidance of harm, or unexpected preservation may be connected to something meaningful that is yet to unfold. It frames these experiences not as isolated events, but as part of a continuous process guiding a person forward. This perspective also brings a sense of responsibility. If protection is linked to purpose, then how a person chooses to move forward becomes significant. It encourages awareness of actions, decisions, and growth, recognizing that there may be a reason for the opportunities and protection experienced so far. It invites a deeper reflection on how to use time and circumstances in a way that aligns with that underlying purpose, rather than treating life as a series of random events without direction. The 12th keynote, "Trusting God Removes Fear of Unseen Battles," highlights how fear is often rooted in uncertainty and the inability to control or predict what lies ahead. Unseen battles refer to challenges, risks, or negative influences that are not immediately visible or understood. Because they are hidden, they tend to create anxiety, overthinking, and a constant sense of vulnerability. The mind tries to imagine worst-case scenarios, leading to stress about things that may never actually happen. Trust changes this internal response. When a person believes that there is a higher power aware of every hidden detail, the need to constantly anticipate and control every possible outcome begins to decrease. Trust does not eliminate challenges, but it changes how they are perceived and handled. Instead of reacting with fear to the unknown, there is a sense of stability that comes from believing that unseen factors are already being managed beyond one's own ability. Fear often grows when a person feels alone in facing uncertainty. It creates a mental burden where every decision feels risky, and every situation feels unpredictable. Trusting in something greater reduces this sense of isolation. It replaces the idea of facing the unknown alone with the belief that guidance and protection are present even if they are not visible. This belief allows the mind to relax and prevents unnecessary stress from building up over possibilities that are outside of direct control. Another aspect is that fear tends to focus attention on potential harm, while trust shifts attention toward assurance and support. This shift does not ignore reality but balances it with confidence. A person who trusts is still aware of challenges but is not overwhelmed by them. They are able to move forward without being paralyzed by doubt or hesitation. Trust also affects decision making. When fear dominates, choices are often based on avoidance and caution, sometimes leading to missed opportunities or inaction. When trust is present, decisions are made with a clear mindset, allowing for progress even in uncertain conditions. It creates a sense of inner security that is not dependent on external clarity. Over time, this trust builds resilience. As a person experiences situations where things work out despite uncertainty, their confidence in this belief grows stronger. Fear gradually loses its intensity, replaced by a steady sense of calm and acceptance, even when the full picture is not visible. As we reflect on these truths, one thing becomes clear: life is not just what we see, but also what we are protected from. There are silent battles fought on our behalf, unseen dangers removed from our path, and hidden blessings working behind every delay, rejection, and redirection. What once felt confusing now carries meaning, and what once felt like loss now reveals itself as protection. Every closed door, every unexpected turn, and every unanswered prayer may have been part of a greater plan designed not to harm, but to preserve, guide, and strengthen. When we begin to understand this, fear loses its grip and trust begins to grow. We no longer walk with constant worry about what might go wrong, because we believe that even the unseen is being taken care of. This awareness brings a quiet confidence and strength that does not depend on circumstances, but on the assurance that there is a purpose behind every moment. Protection is not always loud or visible, but it is always present, shaping life in ways that go far beyond human understanding. May your life be filled with peace, clarity, and unseen protection in every step you take. May every delay guide you, every challenge strengthen you, and every path lead you towards something greater than you imagined. Trust the process, stay strong in faith, and move forward with confidence, knowing that you are never alone. Thank you for taking the time to listen, reflect, and grow through this message. Your journey is meaningful, your path is protected, and your future holds purpose.